In this presentation, we'll discuss improving draft results chains by identifying logic gaps or leaps of faith in the reasoning, and then add missing results to fill those gaps. You can follow along in How-To Guide 2 on pages 18 and 19. In this context, a leap of faith is a type of unreasonably simplified programmatic assumption, where the described logic may be prematurely jumping to a conclusion. In the Grand River example, the design team realized that the result of fishers knowing about new practices did not necessarily mean fishers would then use those new practices, so there was a gap in the logic here. The Grand River design team filled in this gap by adding a result they felt needed to be explicitly described. Fishers support the use of new practices. The thinking here is that it is not enough for the fishers to know about the practices, they need to be willing to support the use of the new practices. If we read through the chain again, we may feel that this is still not sufficient to address the gaps or leaps of faith. For example, you may ask, is knowing about the new fishing practices enough to lead to supporting the use of these new practices? Perhaps the design team may ask, what is the incentive for fishers to change their current fishing practices to the new ones? In this case, the design team concluded that there would have to be some economic incentive to power the change in behavior. So, to strengthen the logic of the results chain, the team added two new results. Fishing cooperatives sell in niche markets, and fishers earn more income with new practices. We can also see from this example that the team added a feedback arrow to show that if fishers use new practices, then they will earn more income with those practices, and that will reinforce support for the use of the new practices. Graphically, this arrangement of these results creates a positive feedback loop. When you're working with your team to improve the logic in your results chain, it is really helpful to keep reading your chain using if-then phrasing. To fill in gaps, you may find that you work from left to right or from right to left, a little of both, or even some brainstorming and rearranging of results. Any of these approaches is fine, and you will likely use a combination of them. The most important thing for you to focus on, though, is making those causal if-then linkages clear. This revised chain can now read as, if the team promotes sustainable freshwater fishing practices, then fishers will know about the new practices. Meanwhile, if fishing cooperatives sell in niche markets, then fishers earn more income with new practices. If fishers know about the new practices and if they earn more income, then fishers will support the use of the new practices. If fishers support use of the new practices, then fishers will use the new practices. If fishers use the new practices, then overfishing will decline. If overfishing declines, then river fish populations will reach a healthy state. Remember, the Grand River example used here is a teaching example and should not be interpreted as an endorsement of any specific thematic or technical decisions. In this presentation, we identified gaps in the logic of the results chain and filled in gaps with important missing results. In the next presentation, we'll clarify the logic further by adding illustrative actions.